So hi, it's Butterfly. How are you? So I completed my vision board, and I wanted to share that with you. So it's a vision board that I put together as part of a group that I attend, and we learn all kinds of really wonderful things in this group. And anyways, we were asked to do a vision board, and my vision board ended up. I wanted to do a journal style kind of vision board, which is not really a vision board. I wanted to answer the question, which is, what do you need for optimal health? What do you need to achieve optimal health? And that is to encompass everything, like physical, mental, spiritual, social, physical, everything that you need to have optimal health. So that's supposed to go on the vision board. Now, I'm going to try one more time to show you the title page without showing you some of the identifying information here. Can I do that? Anyways, in here, right there is a little bit of rose leaves there from a plant that my mom gave me a few weeks back. It's still living. It's still surviving. And so I just... What was it that I was doing? I was doing something with crepe paper. Oh, I was covering, I'll have to show you that. I was covering some other kind of journal books with crepe paper, just so that the outside of the book itself, the book covering, was kind of just different colors from one another, instead of just plain black. So I put crepe paper, and I was left with all these kind of crepe paper triangles, which of course I kept, and I used in my title page. So here you see the back of some of that stuff. Kind of seeped right through. And then on here, I kind of politely ask that as people are reading through this project, not to write on the pages their comments and stuff, but to write them on a separate page, because, you know, I intend to put this in a personal journal of my own. So here, healthy food, and there's a picture of me with my green juice. And I read through this on, was it Friday? I read through it on Friday. Basically, I need healthy food and green juice. This is something that I added. So some herbal information, some herbal stuff, and healthy eating. So I wrote something about that in terms of optimal health. I said herbal foods and whole foods. When I think of whole foods and herbs, I think of prevention and maintenance of good health. I do have a healthy respect for pharmaceuticals and the medical model when it comes to treatment of illness. However, above all else, the influence of one's own mind over one's health, illness, and potential for remission is critical in all cases. A patient can sabotage even the best of cures with an unhealthy mindset. Quite possibly, placebo effects can be evidence that a positive mind can heal even when remission is unlikely. So that is completely like point form, because I could have elaborated on any one of those sentences. But essentially, essentially that's what it is. It's a point form. It's just a synopsis of all kinds of wonderful things that you need for health. This, and if you're wondering, these are the coffee dyed stained sort of pages behind. Excuse me, pardon me, and the coffee smell is overwhelming. So, I don't know if anybody else does coffee stained pages, but holy cow, man. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better for you. So, okay, that might work a little bit better. Here's the little blurb on exercise, which basically says, you know, exercise. Exercise is good for you. Here's another thing. What did I say here? Optimal health. What I need for optimal health, I already have. Anyone can recognize the need for improvement. I have worked very much on recognizing that I am in a good place. There is one long-standing weak spot, which is to keep financial papers in order. And perhaps I could add decluttering to the menu. Who couldn't? So this is one page here that is still not quite dry, but you know, it shows that what I need for health is to know that my girls are well. So long as they are well, I am well. This is a few years ago, so they're older now. And in a few sweet years, they're going to be adults. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy these years as they still last. Here is the next bit. It's a lovely room, which is basically representative of me creating my own space. So I create my space, and I use my stamps up here on this coffee stain page. And it basically says here that I like to create my own space so that I can, gather my thoughts and be surrounded by my favorite things. Here, this is about friendship. And I got this quote off the net. It says, "A true friend knows your weaknesses, but shows you your strengths." And of course, I put some dried flowers that I had collected from last year in my garden and flattened them and dried them. And so here, this is good friends, mental and emotional health. This is part of your overall health. So I talked a bit about this in the video as I was preparing these things, so I won't reread these, but these are the quotes that I came up with. Friendship is a sheltering tree. This is by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So this page here, I put these flowers on this page, stamped a little bee and a bit of a hive, if you can see that. And then over here, I put some more stampy goo on there, and then I added a little thing that I wrote myself. I actively take responsibility for what I attract. It is a blessing to recognize that I have choice in my life. And when I think about, the law of attraction and being responsible for what you attract, I always think about that, almost that blame game that we play with metaphysics, where, if you're ill, then you're responsible for that too. And how helpful is that when you don't know how to get out of that illness? And is it fair to say that we create our own illness in all cases? I don't know. Anyway, here, this is the phases of the moon. Here I am saying that I attract things with the one half of the phase, and I vanish with the other half of the phase of the moon. Here, talk about chakras and energy systems for spiritual health. And I added a quote. "It is always wise to look ahead, but difficult to look further than you can see," by Winston Churchill. So here I turn into the energies associated with the chakras. Whether the features of the chakra are scientifically proven or not makes no difference to me. This system is a mental exercise that opens me to be aware to other ways of thinking when problem solving, reflect on life issues, or focus on my responses to stress. And of course, flower. Here, I found some little sticky notes, and they all had a little word like now, later, to do, and maybe. So what I did is I added enjoy now, worry later, resting to do, and love, maybe. Here, this page was very kind of quilted with the coffee staining that I did. So I stamped a few of these flowers and added a quote. "A moment's insight is sometimes worth a life's experience." So there you go. I don't know if I'm really kind of giving you a good appreciation for these things. Here's another page. So these two are soul cards. And a little blurb about how I feel about tarot reading. I said, "Card reading has always allowed me to connect to many people immediately. It is the quickest way that I know to merge from stranger to confidant. People come with angst or worry, but leave with hope and vision." And that is mostly when you work on one-on-one and you got a good session going. Here, these two cards are a person kind of poring over books, and I don't know, she looks like she's burning midnight oil at a desk. And this one here is alone and kind of talking to the moon. And what I get from that is I am an introvert, and that's okay. So that basically is something else that I need to recognize for optimal health, is to be true to myself and to have that time for myself to be an introvert. And down here I have a little quote that says, "I make it my business to have a great day every day." That was said by Wilma Goni blotter. Could be bloater. I'm not sure. Here's some flowers that I dried. And here's another page that I have. Some candles and dried flowers. And something that I wrote here is, over the years, I have come to understand that part of my wellness includes regenerating with time alone. I have built a huge repertoire of activities that nourish my mind and my soul. It includes candles, incense, tarot or oracle cards, meditation, music, writing, coloring, but most of all, journaling. Unfortunately, cleaning never made the list. So that's what I write here. And in here, I have this is saying, what does it say? My optimal health includes gainful employment, doing meaningful work. So this is where I see myself working across in a chair in a therapist's office. All workouts are not just physical. And here I got something from the internet which kind of speaks to me. It says, therapists, you are changing a role. You know it. We know it. With each client, you help. And each conversation you have. You change the world's view on mental health, behavioral health. Keep it up. We need you. And here we have some quotes and some flowers. These are some roses, again from the roses from my mom's plant that she gave me, and some quotes. So I will read this from Maya Angelou. A wise woman wishes to be no one's enemy. A wise woman refuses to be anyone's victim. And this one here, peace cannot be kept by force. It can be achieved only by understanding. Albert Einstein. These are things to consider when you're looking at having optimal health, because we are all part of an interconnected circle, right? So there's a lot of social issues in here as well. I think I read some of these things actually on Friday. If you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. Lewis Carroll. This one here, this is my love for books. And here again, the love for books. And this is a book, a bookmark. I kind of taped it in with some washi tape that looks like spider webs. And I put some ink stamps everywhere. These ink stamps look like a feather quill, ink, an inkwell, and then some ink splotches there, and some more quills on the side. So here this one says, reading can seriously damage your ignorance. I like that one. This has dried purple, what do you call that? Dried pastel. And we've already reviewed this. Here is some flowers from my garden, which I decided to paste in there. And this is basically the last page that explains that my dream job, this is my dream job. The page that's on the back of this is my dream job. So I'm including that in here. And it says basically some things about my life. And I hope to get this dream job by this time next year. So I have some skills yet, and I could actually apply for this job right now, but there's a few things that I want to check off and sort of refresh in terms of skills. And so I want to do that before I apply for a job. And there's often jobs at that place and jobs like that are available. So I'm not going to apply for it right now. But anyway, for optimal health, you need to have the best job. And I see myself actually making a bit of a career change at some point in the future. This is a lovely stained paper that I was going to write a letter. I think I'm still going to write that letter, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I think I'm going to. I wrote the letter as a draft, to the facilitator about some group dynamics and how I'm learning some really wonderful things just by watching how she operates. And but I think I'm going to wait on that and do it in the near future. So this is going to wait for a while. Right now it's just the back of the project for now. So here we are. That's what I'm going to bring and share with the group tomorrow. Anyway, this is probably not one of my more informative videos, but it's a project that I really enjoyed. And perhaps if you're interested in doing some journaling, if you'd like to put some work together, it took me basically the entire weekend, the entire long weekend, 3 days to do this. And in saying that, some of the colored papers I had already done. And then we were waiting in my journal to, just in case I wanted to go and journal. Like sometimes I just do a bunch of pages and I paint them all, or I color them all and they're ready for cutting. Or, I sort of prepare things. Like I prepared the dried flowers quite some time ago. So some of the 3 days of work that I've done this weekend was assembling. But the coffee stained paper I actually started on Friday night. So I did dye that on Friday night. I double dyed it on Saturday, some of them. And then I was able to start writing on them on Saturday, the dried ones, and to finish it. Anyways, I don't know. The weekend's a blur now. Today's Monday and I just finished it. So I haven't done much of other things. So, yeah, a couple of hours on Friday night, a lot of hours on Saturday night, and some on Sunday, and a lot today too. So it did take some time, even though I had a lot of the kind of stuff before. But if you're interested in doing this kind of a project, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see how yours turns out. You might just do a simple vision board and not go like completely nuts like I did, which would be really reasonable for you to do. But perhaps you'd like to do a journal entry and just do like 1 page of what you think you need for optimal health. The way that our group kind of was asked to do this was that we had to touch on all those different aspects of health and what you think you need to achieve optimal health. And so a lot of what I focused on was the obvious things like food, nutrient, what you put in your mouth, and how you exercise, and mental health and social. But a lot of what it is for me to maintain health, I have found is that I need to pay attention to my spiritual health. And if I don't, then I'm not optimally very healthy. My spiritual wellness, I think, is as important, and if not more important, than the other aspects of health, because that is the seat of how I feel about myself and how I frame my world and how I think about things and how I interpret things. It's more than mental health. It's spiritual because there's always a connection to the divine. There's always a connection to the divine and to the divine within each other person that I speak with. So that I think is it's pretty important for me, which is, why I'm one of the people who do a channel like this. I'm just one of these existential people that needs to kind of nourish that part of who I am so that I can be the best me that I can be. So anyways, I'd love to hear from you and see if you wanted to do a response and maybe share in the artistic endeavors of making a vision board or a journal entry on optimal health. Take care. Have a good day. I'm going to stop this thing at some point. So I'm going to stop. Stop button. Stop. Optimal health. I have optimal function, but I don't have a laptop that functions.